Hi Pisces, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find this video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you subscribe, I upload my new videos for Virgo and Pisces on Saturdays. Now, I do want to let you guys know that I am currently fighting off a cold, so if my voice sounds a little bit off, I apologize in advance. But I did want to let you guys know that the deck that I'm using today is called the Tarot de Marseilles. And as always, if you guys are interested in a personal reading, the link is in the description. I should mention that sometimes the cards like to flip over in the deck. Usually, I'll just leave them face up in the deck. However, in this particular deck, I like to turn them around just because the cards are sort of bent in a specific direction. So if I don't, it makes it more difficult to shuffle. But the goal here is to get you guys roughly 8 or 9 cards. And lastly, I don't take cards that aren't jumpers. So they have to jump out of the deck, like these ones have. All right, Pisces. I do want to let you guys know that if you like or enjoy the reading, the best way to let me know is by leaving a like or a comment. But I apologize for my cough. Your overall energy here is the Four of Cups. Now, the Four of Cups leads me to believe that you guys are a little bit dissatisfied right now. The Four of Cups is my dissatisfaction card. And oftentimes when it comes out, I know that people want to get more out of the situation. More than they already have. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think that for a lot of you guys right now, I'm hearing sort of friend zone. I feel like a lot of you guys want to be in a deeper kind of connection with someone, perhaps more intimate. But it's not quite there yet at that level. It feels like it's not really moving quite that fast either. I apologize. But on the bright side, you do have the Ten of Swords in reverse. No, I'm sorry. That is the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands in reverse. Now, the Ten of Wands is a really good card to have in reverse because it talks about burdens. And the fact that it's in reverse leads me to believe that you guys are going to be loosening your load a lot, or lightening your load, I should say. So you're going to have a lot less responsibilities and things that you need to take care of. And you're going to be able to dedicate a lot more time to yourself and to your partners and to anything that you sort of want to, right? So like, for a lot of you, that's probably creative pursuits because Pisces, you know, has that tendency to be one of the more creative signs of the deck. Or, sorry, of the zodiac. But I'm also seeing that with this Queen of Wands, you have a lot of this powerful passion energy in you as well, right? Because the Queen of Wands, to me, has that sort of passion and drive and the motivation to get things done, right? Like, we all know that sometimes we'll get into like a state of mind where we want to get things done, but they don't actually get done. You know, when I see something powerful like the Queen of Wands, I know that things are actually going to get done because you have the motivation and the drive to do them. And even just on top of that, with this Knight of Swords here, I'm seeing that you guys are really coming through with a message right now. And I feel like it's you guys in particular. I apologize, but with this, I feel like you guys are going to come forth with a message because you also have the Eight of Swords in reverse. Now, the Eight of Swords talks about feeling trapped and confined. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have been feeling that way. Especially since you have the Ten of Swords, or rather the Ten of Wands in reverse. I feel like you guys had the Ten of Wands in the upright in the past, and you felt like you had so much on your plate, and there was just nothing that you could do about it. And now that these responsibilities are slowly starting to fade away, you feel like you're able to do the things that you want and the things that you need to do because you're free, right? You're free of your shackles, you're free of your responsibilities, and that gives you the power to really go forth and get what you want. I'm getting sort of two scenarios for Pisces here. And they're both related to love. With this Four of Cups here, I'm getting that for some of you, you have been single for a while, and you're really going to go after the person of your affection, right? You're going to go after them. You're going to, send the first message, shoot your shot, and then see what happens. And for some of you, I'm also getting that you are currently in a relationship, and perhaps there's like some kind of a weird distance or something that needs to be addressed, or perhaps you've lost that spark or whatever, because you have the Four of Cups here, and the Four of Cups tells us that you feel dissatisfied with something in the situation, and whatever it is that you feel dissatisfied of, enough is enough. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to get it done, right? That's you, Pisces. You're going to get it done. And I feel like your relationship is going to be for the better because of it, even if it doesn't actually do, like, even if you don't actively do anything about it, just like sitting down and talking about it and saying, hey, look, this is how I feel, like that'll go a huge way, right? Because like we can't always just like predict what everyone else and like read minds. And I feel like sometimes it's difficult for you to really like sit down and talk about things, even though that you experience them so deeply. And to some degree, you're going through a tower moment here, probably in relation to that, but probably also in relation to whatever you feel dissatisfied to begin with. Because the tower, whenever it appears, I know that there's something that's not functioning, right? There's a broken cog, and it's kind of gunking up the whole system. And when we see a tower card, I know that something's going to come crashing down, but it's going to give you the opportunity to build it back up again, right? So I feel like there's some patterns or some foundations in your relationships or your love life or just your life in general that you don't really need, or that aren't helping you, they aren't serving you, And I feel like now is going to be a time for you to really do away with those things that aren't serving you. And if I find that if you work with the tower instead of working against it, it's going to become much faster and much easier for you. And it's very interesting because you have the Judgment in reverse, and I feel like the Judgment in reverse has something to do with your dissatisfaction. You feel dissatisfied because you've been judged poorly. I feel like for a lot of you also, it feels like your partner just like, and it doesn't necessarily have to be your partner. I feel like somebody just in your life feels like they are always the victim all the time, when in reality, like, if they would just put themselves in your shoes and like see what you're going through, like, hey, they would understand me and probably their part of the situation as well far better, because like there's stuff that they don't understand, and there's stuff that they don't know, but not because they can't, but because they haven't bothered to try to. And I feel like that's coming to an end. Some form of communication is going to be crumbled and then rebuilt so that you're able to understand those things and be a lot more fluid in that communication. And it's very interesting because we have the Ace of Wands here in reverse, and then we have the Seven of Pentacles. Now, the Ace of Wands, to me, talks about passion and love and romance, right? Like all those fiery, spicy things. But because it's in reverse, it feels bland. It feels not there. It feels distant, cold sometimes, very businesslike. And I feel like, especially for those of you who are in connections where it feels that way, you're really setting your intentions. And you're letting your partner know, or even like partners plural or whatever, like whatever the connection looks like to you, that's your That's, that's you. But whatever it is, you're setting your intention, you're identifying the problem, you're setting your seed, or rather, you're planting your seed, you're watering it every day, and you're seeing how well it's growing. You're not like being a wallflower in this situation. If some of you may have been in the past, but now certainly not. Now you're being active because you have this Queen of Wands energy. You are the Queen of Wands, and she takes action. And as a result, you're seeing these things grow and you're seeing these things change. Even if it's only one leaf at a time, you're seeing that flower grow. And this, which I feel like is the main issue here, there's sort of like this dry lack of passion, is going to be in the upright. And you're going to see, and like a lot of us have this mental error where we attribute like passion to just sex and nothing else. And that's not always the case. Like sometimes lack of passion can look like boring conversations or just disinterest or even dissatisfaction, which is the Four of Cups in general. So I feel like it's connected on both sides. Um, but you're definitely going to be the one that takes action to really spice things up. And like, I hate using the phrase like spice things up because I'm just kind of playing back into that stereotype that I just sort of talked about, but I feel like you are taking the steps to rectify the issue. And I feel like it's one of those things where sometimes it can be deeply rooted and you are like really being proactive about it because you have this Ace of Wands, or sorry, this Queen of Wands energy in the upright, and then you're going to have this Ace of Wands energy in the upright. But that was your reading first time around, Pisces. If you enjoyed, please leave a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel. And I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I was saying earlier, I upload my new Pisces videos on Saturdays. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings that I have up on the channel. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys next time for your next reading. Or hopefully I'll have my normal voice back. I'll see you then.